the guy that called the Oakland game tonight with Siegel, and it was really a runaway for Oakland tonight. Is Bryan Barrett of WGNS, sir.
Hello, sir.
How are you, sir?
I've got the hiccups. I don't really know why.
Wow. Okay.
So that's what's going on with me.
I can hear that.
Yeah.
A good atmosphere tonight. I mean, with the weather the way it was, it surely scared some people out of the house.
Oh, I would think so. I thought it was a good crowd, especially. Oakland having homecoming, that brings out a crowd of folks that maybe wouldn't normally come to a ball game, and boy, they saw a show tonight after Oakland had kind of a rough start on their first series. They fumbled the ball inside the 20, and Jermaine Majors picks it up for Siegel, takes it 61 yards, and he scores a touchdown a few plays later, and then Oakland rattles off 55 in a row. So that final score of 62 to 13. But it was all a little bit of everything in tonight's game.
Well, talk about that. Tell me what you saw, brother.
Well, that was one. That was one play that was kind of interesting. Fumble recovery in the second quarter. So Oakland scores on the defensive side of the ball with Cameron Gooch, and so I thought that was kind of big for them. B.J. Kennard had a great night, 106 yards on six receptions and 2 touchdowns on the night as well. So you never know who it's going to be for Oakland, who's going to step up. D.D. Anderson had 2 interceptions in a span of 2 minutes and 24 seconds for Oakland defensively tonight. So, when your defense can help your offense along and your offense isn't having a hard time scoring, it just kind of makes things go well. I'm sure Coach Creasy's pretty happy with the way his team played for the most part.
Yeah, and the win just continues to keep them on track. We get a Blackman win over Cookeville, so it appears that pretty much solidifies the top spot in the region for Oakland. I think if I'm reading the tea leaves right.
Well, they've got Cookeville next week, and Oakland doesn't have a loss with 2 weeks left, but Blackman doesn't have. They've got 1 loss, and that was to Oakland. So if Oakland beats Cookeville next week, they could finish no worse than a tie, and Blackman's the number 2 team. So, or right now they are. They could be playing Riverdale in week 11 for number 2.
Yeah, so Cookeville.
And I think Cookeville is probably in a position, especially if they lose to Oakland next week, they'll be fighting for their playoff lives against the Siegel Stars in week 11.
Yeah, Cookeville's down with 2 losses in the region, so yeah, I think it'll be head-to-head. If Cookeville beats Oakland, head-to-head with Blackman, and Oakland would go to Oakland. But, there's a lot to be said. I've been getting text messages for first-round matchups already, so I know people are looking ahead at that, and playoffs are right around the corner. And it appears that Oakland is in good shape, even though they've been playing several weeks without a break. Their bye week was in week 2 or week 3 or something like that. Do they look like they're primed and ready for the playoffs?
When you saw Oakland earlier in the year, they had some injuries to deal with, and when they went up to Maryville, they had some injuries that some key players, and I think the week after was their bye week, and since then they've gotten healthier and healthier, and as long as they stay healthy, and they had some early injuries along the way that were season-ending injuries, like Justin Jefferson and Jalen Locklear, and it's. I don't want to say that it's easier on the 6A level to just next man up, because Oakland is deep that way, and not everybody is. But I heard you talking to Coach Hartsfield earlier about, he sat Napier tonight because of an injury, but he's got a stable of running backs too, and that's a luxury that not everybody has.
Yeah. Yeah, tell me about it. Brian, what game are you guys doing next week, sir?
Well, we've got a non-region county matchup next week, as we'll be over at Blackman for Stewart's Creek Blackman, and the following week we'll be back at Blackman with Riverdale Blackman. So that's how we're going to finish out the regular season.
For the backyard brawl.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, I heard you call it a backyard rivalry, and it's a brawl.
Yeah, the backyard brawl. Sorry.
It's definitely a brawl. You know that.
I do.
No love lost.
No, it would be. They might, if one of the schools caught on fire, the other one might hold hands around it to keep the firemen away. Brian, we'll appreciate your time tonight, and it looks like Laverne moved their game up a week, so they played Overton tonight.
It appears so, and I think it was originally scheduled to be a bye week this week, and Overton, I think Metro's fall break is next week, and so since there was a bye week and Overton would have one next week, they just went ahead and decided to play, and they'll both have a bye next week instead of this week.
All right. Well, no bye for you. We'll talk to you next week, okay?
Well, it's a bye-bye for me.
Oh, okay. I
Right,
can't
bye-bye.
I can't argue.
Later.
I can't argue with that logic. I thought we were more toodles.
Well, there's no logic. It's almost 11 o'clock. There's no logic to be found at this time of the night.
No, there is not. Buddy, thank you so much. We appreciate it, okay?
Yes, sir. We'll talk to you next week.
All righty. That is Bryan Barrett of WGNS, one of the charter members on the Friday Night Thunder radio network.